G'day guys, Josh from Dodgy Dailies. Short shifter for the Ford Festiva. It's a Honda Civic short shifter. Changes it from bushes to a bearing. But before I get into that, I've got to run down to the post office and go get some fuel for the Festiva, as it ran out the other day in my street and I managed to roll it into my driveway. So I'll grab a jerry can and we'll go do that. Just got some 10 litres of fuel. Who cares? It's a little daily run around, so 91 or some shit. I don't know, it was cheap. Yeah, also I don't know if I've included it in any of the other videos that we've done for the little Festiva. I think I may have missed one, but yeah, I did something stupid to it and I gave it a straight pipe. So what I've done was I got the Courier's old exhaust and I made it fit. So right down there at the mandrel bend where it goes skinny is where I cut it, and I just got one of those exhaust clamps. And yeah, there is a little bit of a rattle I am chasing with it. I think it's just due to the heat shields. The heat shields vibrating. The heat shields vibrating at certain RPMs, and it just gives off a stupid noise. Now, if you've run out of fuel, instead of sitting there cranking and cranking and cranking until it starts, easiest way to do it, flick it so the fuel pump turns on, and then just do that a few times up until you get fuel all the way up to the motor. I'll admit it sounds like arse, but it's funny, so. It blows a lot of smoke because it's got fucked rings. Alright, so the one issue, the Festiva's shift knob isn't the same thread as this Honda Civic one. I've done a trade deal with my neighbour, give him one of the pull starts off my pocket bike, or one of the pocket bikes I have, and he gave me the piston, because I'm going to try and make this into a shift knob. Hopefully it works out alright. I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll get like I'm not sure. I'll go from my shed, go through my bolts and whatnot and bits and pieces and see what I can come up with. And for those people that are interested in the Beamer, we haven't given up on it. Well, we've given up on this shell. Also I collect rotors now for scrap metal, because I was looking at the damage and we pulled it out as much as we could, but really this one's seen better days. If I come down this side of it, you can see we actually bent up. Like, see that gap there in the over fenders? It wasn't that big before. We've actually bent up here a little bit as well. It's given the car a real big shunt, and it's just too much effort for us to not worry about. Obviously I'll be taking all my windows off because these are quite tinted, but I've started getting into this one a fair bit. Nothing really worth recording as it was just me ripping wiring out. So I've got the entire harness laid out here and amongst all my junk. Relays and stuff I'll reuse. I'm going to reuse some of the wiring, I think about 12 of them. But yeah, for a little bit there it was just being used as part storage. I think I've found the colour I'm going to paint the interior. I will be putting carpet back in just because of the way the pedal is on this particular car, on E36s. The carpet actually acts as a floor spacer, and the pedal clips into this and sits up, sits up about an inch. But yeah, I've left some wiring in because obviously I'm still going to try and use my power windows. So I'll work out what's what, cut out what I don't need. All this ignition stuff's going to get ripped out. I'm just going with a push button start and whatnot. Yeah, I think I'm going to paint the interior yellow for what's back there after I rip out all of that crap and all of the sound deadening. But yeah, that's sort of where we're at with this build. Just got to start with the wiring. As you can see, it's on its guts. So and it's gonna stay there because it's not being road registered. I've got actually a good. So we've got a standard spring here, and then we've got our lowering spring. It's literally half. So, I mean, it is meant to be a coilover kit spring, but I don't worry about running the adjustable perches. Now, I was going through all my bolts and whatnot down in there, and I was hoping I could find some sort of like a nylon bush that I could put in, put it in through that side, just put it in through there, and then just like drill a hole in it. But I don't think I've got one, so what I might need to do is get some Chemi-Weld and then just fill it with Chemi-Weld, and then just drill it and tap it to be the same thread as that. Right, so to do the shifter, you've got to take out the console here, pop that out. There's a screw in there, that'll come off. All of that'll undo. I've had this off before, as you can see, because I painted it blue. Does need a touch up, but the Bunnings nearby doesn't have any at the moment, so I'll do it another day. Clip there, pull it all out. Oh, easy as. Rip that out. Done. This sometimes unclips like that, but it's not doing that today. A bit of log splitting happening today. Steph's training Josie up a bit. Yeah. Got my screwdriver. Okay, let's go through here. The thing I like to do is I'll use this little cup thing to put all my screws into. Oh yeah, pop this little thing off. It pulls off as easy as that. And then that needs to oh wait, sorry, I forgot there is. No, there's no more screws. Some cars there will be. Right, give me a second. The clip in there was being a bit stubborn, but yeah, you just unclip it and pull it up. Guys, I can get back into it now. It's now overcast and shitty weather. So I'm just going to pull the rest of the interior apart. So I'll get all this apart, ready for tomorrow, and hopefully it's a bit drier, and so I can get underneath it and undo the shifter bolts. But for now, I'm just, pull the interior apart. Got my little ghetto phone stand. It tucks into that corner, sits up there, and I'll angle it the best I can.
Seems to be a different angle. So I've got one clip on this side, I've lost one clip. Side clip out. And then get it a little. This next bit's a bit of a fight. trying to get all the wires from the back of it at the moment.
Yeah, it put up a bit of a fight just because that clip broke, but that's alright. We don't really need it. I'm thinking I might pull the head unit out of the BMW, as I'm not going to be using it. But yeah, alright, let's go from there. Alright, I find the best way to do this is to pop the clip, like just get a flat blade in there, and usually works for me. I don't know if it's going to this time. No, it's not. Okay. Yeah. What I need to do is, alright, so yeah, you want to flick it in and just pry it off. And that got it for me. I got it by accident and I punched my knuckles onto this. Yeah, you gotta be careful of that. So now that will come out. Obviously, I just got to get underneath it and yeah, get underneath it and undo the shifter bolts. So next you want to jack the car up. It's not ideal, it's all I've got, but it's actually fairly dry under there still, so I'll give it a go. I do have a mat I can lay on, and I'll go get that soon. Now for the festiva, it's just that 12, or it's either a 12 or a 13. I'm not going to record on doing that as my belly's getting wet. But yeah, I'll get it done as quickly as possible. And not in the best of spots to be leaving my phone under the car. Like, yeah, I'm laying on a mat, but I don't really want to be leaving it out, and I want this done. Okay, for some reason it won't focus properly, but as you can see, there's quite a bit of side-to-side movement. So what I'll do tomorrow is I'll undo that, put some washers in it, and that'll tighten it all up. Alright, so now out she comes. Now these bushes here, these nylon ones, I will probably have to reuse that. I'll work out how to get that off and I'll let you know. Right. The blue you can see, that's from the dashboard, but you just got to wiggle this boot off. Yeah, you wiggle the boot off and then it'll give me 3 seconds. It's meant to be more cooperative. Oh, I've lost my flat blade. God damn it. Oh wait. Right, so you just get your screwdriver and pop your boot off. If you can get it in the right spot. There you go. Pop. Okay, come on. Off you come. There we go. Got it. Alright. Got the boot off and then sit on the floor, and then your nylon bush should just pop off like that. Now, these will have to be reused into this one, and of course I'll re-grease it and I'll put it together properly. Alright, so the bush in this shifter actually isn't in too bad of a shape. Alright, pull that out. Yeah, still pretty decent. So, actually I think when this was a customer's car, before it was given to me, I think I actually made this one to put in there. And it's held up pretty decent, I guess, for something that I made with spare parts. If it is still the one that I made. That I'm not sure of, whether or not it's been replaced. I don't know, but I know for a fact that I replaced it about a year ago. So I will try and reuse this bush underneath the car on the selector rod when I pull that apart to put the washers in it to stiffen it all up. Alright, so the festiva shifter, the hole is much bigger than that and just slides on. So I'm thinking I might try to use it up until I can get the cami weld and make the other shifter work. So what I'm going to do is I'll wrap tape around that, and then that will thread on afterwards. Yeah, I'll make it work. Alright, so as you can see, the shifters, I'll angle that a bit better for you. Alright, so if I sit these on the ground side by side, you can see that the throw itself is longer down the bottom there because the pivot point needs to move up. So if I was to make this a short shifter, what I would actually be doing is I would be cutting, getting a bit of pipe, making it longer. So then the pivot point has to change. So it might be easier to show you on the new one, but so if I pinch it here, and then if I move it a little bit there, you can see the pivot point has to move a fair way. If I pinch it higher up, I move it a little bit and it moves a lot further. So it seems like a bit of a weird concept that, you know, you got to throw it longer with it shorter, and with it at a higher pivot point you throw it shorter to get more movement. So a short shifter is really a long shifter that makes you have a shorter shift. Makes sense of that. So sitting them side by side, you can see that this is already a considerable length longer. What I want is maybe that. So I'll go up until that thread bit there. I'll max that out and then we'll see what it's like, and I'll make further adjustments while it's in the car when needed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the end of the thread there and then go back until the hole lines up with that, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, just because I don't want it too clunky, but I think I might just go 3 turns back, but it's still going to be a major drastic change to the way the shifter feels. Put the grub screw back in. Now this short shifter I've got is just your generic eBay Honda Civic, and you'd be surprised at how many different cars this generic eBay Honda Civic short shifter will actually fit. Like a lot, 99% of cars use this same, oh I shouldn't say 99, a lot of cars use the same similar setup to make it all work for you. Now with this comes with that spacer. I'm assuming you need it for the Civic. For this purpose, we don't. So, because when you sit them side by side like this, you can see that they are near on the same. So, yeah, we're not going to need that for this setup, but because what it does come with though is these spacers here. They go on bolt, and what they do is they centralize the bolt onto the bearing inside it. So with those 2 spacers on it, okay, I'm a bit too close there, but with those spacers you can see that they are near on very, very close, so we should be pretty sweet. One little neat thing as well, comes with an adjustable length bar, because as you can see now that I've changed the pivot point, they're yeah, it's much shorter, and I want it for, you know, I want to make the shift as short as possible, but I also like a really long shifter. So it's, yeah, I try to make a short shifter with a really long shifter just because I like my hands to be up high instead of reaching down into the center console to change. So just Allen key, loosen that off. Now I'll just max this out for now, and if I need to, I'll adjust it shorter later. I don't think I'll need to. Where's that bit? There. And then tighten those little Allen keys back up. So, there you have it. Oh, still got to keep going back. There you go. Bit of a height difference. The shift is going to be Now obviously in a Ford Festiva you don't really need a short shifter, it's just for, you know, more dumb mods to front wheel drive shitboxes. Plus people, you know, some people like to actually take care of their cars and do them up properly. Like there's a few Ford Festiva race cars and whatnot, and for rally purposes I've seen Ford Festivas be rallied in the lower classes. They can be quite capable cars if you really want them to be, but as it's just my daily, I don't really give a fuck. I just want something silly and I want to get rid of shitty shifter play. Alright, the rain's gotten worse. It's also quite dark, so I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow and we'll finish putting all this back together. Alrighty, see you then. What's up, guys? Alright, we're back for another day. Bit overcast, bit sunny over there. I can work with that. So I showed you last night the slot in this part of the shifter. I tried to anyway, but it was... So what I've done, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a couple of washers between that gap and that gap on both sides. So try and keep it pretty center. The washers should in turn make it a pretty solid, pretty solid shifter linkage. And then we'll get back into putting the short shifter in. Couldn't find any washers the right size, so I just quickly made up these ones. Yeah, they'll do the trick. So really it's going to be, when it goes together, it'll be 2 washers one end, 2 washers at the other, sort of lot. Yeah, just squish them in there and that'll make it nice and tight for me. This bit here, I have no idea how to get this part. I would like to do something about it, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. If I can fix up as much of it as possible, that'd be good. But this, I tried giving it a hit with a hammer, didn't want to move. Not really sure how it's supposed to come out, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Put these plastic clips back on. This one's got a little slit in it already, so this one will just push over, like so, and click onto there. And then this other one would be, where have I put it? There. Does that have a slit in it as well? Or do I need to pull it apart? Okay, so let's get the grease on my fingers for now. So this other one, I'll have to undo that and slide it down the shaft. And I'll probably leave this off until the interior is back together, because it's going to have to come off anyway to do the to put the boot back on. Plus it just makes things a lot easier to get the center console back together. There. So there and there. You don't need to worry about putting the boot back on, because as you can see it's clearly not gonna fit. It'd be nice to have it, but yeah, you're not gonna get it to fit on there. So we'll grease them up a bit, grease up the ball a bit, and get that bit of leaf off it. This grease tube's been around for a long time. Bit of grease on there, slap it together, and just rag. Alrighty. He's going to slip it back into the hole, like so. Push that down. So push down, there we go. Alright, and then there you go, you got your short shifter halfway in. I'll get that bit of crap off that. Next you'll want to wrestle that spring back in, try and get it back to roughly where it was when you took it out. I'm going to need 2 hands for this. I'll try and set up the phone again like I did last night. Found a bit of a better spot. I don't know where I put my flat blade. Alright, let's see how we go with recording it there. That seems to be a good spot. Now, this next bit is a right pain. People have had to cut the spring a little bit to get these back in. I'm probably going to have to do very similar. Just because the ball is a little bit bigger, so a lot of people will cut off like the bottom spring. And see how I go without cutting it. There we go. And in. No need to cut it. Alright. Now if I slide back under and I'll bolt it in. Alright, so it's not a perfect fit, but washer in there, washer in that side, and then you've got the two bearing spaces, one on each side. So then it still moves freely. Now you've got to get this tight. We'll get it through the hole and get it tight. Alright, so it's not tight, but the top of it's not tight, but much better than what it was. I can go into a gear and there's very little, there's no movement at all, which is what you're after. It makes nice noises. Sick. Let's get the interior back together now. Probably don't want to watch me struggle to put the interior back together, so I'll catch up here when that's done. All done for now, until I sort out the shifter. I'll probably do a video on making a piston shifter, I don't know yet, but it's gotten rid of there's zero flop. It's actually really tight, really good. Yeah. Just need to do something about that. Might wrap some tape around it and just, screw it on like that. But for now, should be right. Thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, just a little short shifter mod. Trying to kill some time really while we wait for more parts for the Navara. And while we wait for this COVID shit to piss off, so then we can go back to working normal hours, getting normal money, and actually buy stuff for the Beamer. Yeah. Well, not that Beamer. That Beamer. Yeah. But once we can start getting back into it a bit more, then yeah, there'll be more from us. But alright, thanks for watching, guys. Just a little, you know, how-to onto a short shifter for the Ford Festiva. I don't think I've done a very good job on the how-to, so yeah, either way, shows you the basics of getting it done. Alright, alright guys, you know the drill. Hit the ding-dong button, hit the like button, subscribe, blah blah blah. Alrighty, catch you guys. See ya.